Normal circumstances, with the Ministry of Education visiting some schools alongside provincial leadership to make sure that things go according to plan. Well, in studio with us, we've got Gauteng Premier Nomvula Mokonyane to update us on what they actually witnessed. So good to have you. Welcome to Morning Live.
Thank you very much, and compliments.
Thank you.
We can proudly say we have been ready from September last year for this very historic day for your grade R learners and those who are moving from primary to senior secondary, but also the opening of new schools, additional classrooms, and most importantly, the move from grade 11 to grade 12, because the preparation for matric exams started in grade 9, but from yesterday, in earnest, the preparation for the matric exams for the class of 2014 started. Parents were also quite supportive, the educators. So the entire infrastructure in Gauteng was already a bit of importance. Is pre-planning. Like I'm saying, we start in September, so that then when we go into the opening of schools, we just make interventions. Precisely because of in-migration into Gauteng, you will have new learners who are coming in on the first day. And even with that, we've got a system that we implement in the province so that people do not present themselves to a school, but they present themselves to a regional office where they can then be allocated to a school where there's available space.
Where did you go yesterday?
I didn't go anywhere. I had a family bereavement. I was fortunate that I was briefed by the MEC, and the plans were adopted by the Provincial Executive Council in December last year. All the plans of opening up schools were 14 new schools that were officially opened.
14 new schools
that were opened yesterday. And as you heard when the president launched the manifesto through the breakfast program, saying we open a school every week in South Africa. In Gauteng, we opened 14 new schools on the first day of schooling. And precisely because we want to improve the quality of learning, including dealing with the infrastructure of education. Of importance is the role of the educator and the parent. And that's what we are emphasizing, including the social support to those who are involved in day-to-day activities in the classroom. That's what makes the success in Gauteng.
Yeah. You know, I think one of the biggest things is we see that there is this feeling amongst people living in the rural areas that they need to get out of the rural areas to come into the bigger cities because the schooling is better here, as opposed to in the rural areas or going into townships, you know, and that I imagine poses a big problem. How do we get away from that?
We've moved away from seeing in-migration and urbanization being a problem. We plan for it, and that's why we have these reception points, because we also know in terms of in-migration into Gauteng as to where people find themselves. But we need to commend the Northwest and the Free State, because they also reflect the success in terms of integrated rural development and the investment that our rural provinces are making on education. And I think the success of the Free State and the Northwest demonstrates that very soon we'll have equal standards of quality education across the length and breadth of the country, and therefore you may not have to move to Gauteng to come and seek better quality education. However, we can't wish away in migration, because others come because of work opportunities. Parents come to Gauteng, and that's exactly what we're dealing with. We have additional classrooms that we're putting in. We're not only building new schools, we're also putting up additional classrooms. We are also working on investing on senior secondary improvement programs, where we build the capacity and the readiness for matric from grade 9. And this is a Gauteng homemade intervention, the senior secondary improvement program, where we put our own resources over and above the allocation we receive on education. And I think our colleagues in other provinces, because the Northwest and the Free State also learned from us. Of importance also, Leanne, that I need to share, as I was walking in, somebody said Gauteng dropped. Gauteng didn't drop. We had a target of 3% increase. We saw a target of 5% increase, and hence 87. But the two provinces went above us. And another thing that we need to celebrate is that 38% of our matriculants received bachelor's qualifications, which also indicates that there's a lot of effort that our educators and the learners have put, and the performance of the girl learner. I'm quite elated.
Yeah, that's something I want to talk about. I mean, we're talking about rural schools, and we're talking about the fact that the best performing learner in the province actually came from a township school. And that is massive.
Absolutely. Very massive. And flanked by 2 young girls from Tshwane. And the situation in Ivory Park and the capacity in Ivory Park demonstrates that it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter the status of your own family and whether you are in Bryanston or you are in Ivory. In fact, the gap between private and public schools in Gauteng is actually at now 16%. We're closing that gap, and the best performing is from a no-fee school in Ivory Park. And it is because we provide many other social support. We provide meals, we provide free education. Because it's a no-fee school, nobody is being taken out of the school. And we've got the senior secondary improvement program, where we have Saturday classes, additional teaching hours during the week, and the retraining and orientation of the educator. We spend more, in Gauteng we invest almost $1 billion on additional support to the quality of education of our learners.
Premier, just before I let you go, I need to know also, these 14 schools you were talking about, where are they? Where are they situated in the Gauteng area?
You have them in Tshwane. You have some of them in Ekurhuleni. They are all spread across the regions.
Mostly in townships?
In the townships.
All in the townships?
Predominantly in the townships. And others in townships that used to be informal townships, and they are now being formalized. And what we do with formalization of informal settlements is to also bring social infrastructure such as education. Of importance is what I'm saying, that the quality of education is gradually improving. And our no-fee schools have demonstrated that. That's why we'll capture even these more than 4,000 former matriculants and provide them with bursaries in the next few days, because we have taken it as our responsibility that we don't only end with matric. We want to see them prospering. And indeed, we've got a good story to tell on our education system.
All right. Premier, thank you. Thanks for joining us and for being with us here after a very big day yesterday. Gauteng Premier Nomvula Mokonyane talking to us about the first day of schools in her province and the fabulous story that 14 brand new schools were opened up in the province as of yesterday. And according to the Premier, all smooth sailing from there, so that's good news. But I think I have to do a shout out to the Free State to say well done to the Free State, okay? I mean, that's a fantastic
Thank you, and well done to them. It's a relief to us,
it's
and it is something that we need.
Absolutely.
There's life and there's hope in our rural province.
It's amazing. Well done to you in the Free State. Very, very good. All right, now that's